All the meeting to order. Put the glasses on, so I can see. I know, right? Can I get a motion on the minutes?
Sure.
I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Who's doing the financial update?
I am. So in Keith's absence, he'll return on Monday to the office, but, total cash for the month of May is 13,477,000, of which 2,809,000 is WQIP and 10,688,000 is SPAC.
Any questions? All right, reporting and filing due dates.
Right, that's me. So the 2024 project accounting report was completed and sent to the ABO, Putnam and North Vista counties on June 4th. And I believe Keith also shared it with the DEP. Is that
I
correct,
did
Vin?
receive something, yeah.
Good, okay. All right, and then regarding the financial disclosures that were due on May 31st, it's unclear if any of our members have not completed it at this time because we're waiting for an update from Putnam County Ethics Board. So, which they normally provide periodically, so if anyone is outstanding, I will let them know. And the first round of O&M payments will be sent out today to towns that did their O&M in 2024. And if anyone wants to stick around for their check, that would be you, Rich, and Putnam County and Somers that are here today.
How about Lewisboro?
Are
we getting it?
I don't know,
I don't recall.
no.
You got Summers' check, Rob's not here.
You might be really close to the
Okay.
number,
Yeah,
but I don't recall if you guys did.
but you will get the second round of total reimbursement.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
so I won't stick around there.
And the backup documents for the 2024 O&M from Millie have been compiled. And I'm just gonna make copies of each text, put them in there, and then I'll send them. All right, and that's it.
Great.
Ready? For project update, we are still sitting at 755 kilograms. And we'll be on target to complete the necessary 920. The running projects that we have, looking to go to after construction, begin construction on Kenton B 1000, probably August 1st is the target. We're currently out to bid on that project, which will net us a big number, 78 kilograms. After that would be the Walkabout Country Club and likely Woodcrest Terrace in Somers, followed by Woodland Trail. So we have a very active end of summer, beginning of fall season, it looks like, and we'll keep chipping away to get to that number. We will be closing out YMU 40, which is at Hallettsville and Yorktown shortly. It's just a matter of vegetation taking. And since it's biofiltration, we need to make sure that those plants take before we close out, send the credit up to the state. But that is coming quick. We are getting a lot of actually private property owners that are reaching out to us looking for assistance, a lot of lakes, which are great. As those folks reach out to me, I'll let the towns know if you have that lake in your municipality, as we start setting something up, because obviously you will be responsible for any maintenance that takes place and need to be part of the solution that we provide there. But anything that is coming in, of course, would be towards the years 11 through 15 work plan. And we'll tentatively look to maybe submit those at the end of the year. We'll have a new work plan that goes in for 2026 that we do the DEC in October, I believe. So we'll keep pushing ahead with those. And then, of course, we can't start work on those yet until we have the funding in place. We do have funding to get kind of the ball rolling for me to kind of do preliminary work and staff to do preliminary work. But we don't have the design funds actively available right now. But once those are available, as long as you guys can keep continuing to move that ball forward, we'll look to hit ground running in January.
So wasn't there a work plan submitted with a bunch of projects already? What's the status of that?
So that work plan is how are we going to get to the 460 kilogram requirement that was put in place, so that's a 5-year number. Each year, we have to set a different work plan in that's going to be, all right, what are we working on this calendar year to advance towards that larger goal?
Okay.
I have not heard from the DEC regarding the 5-year work plan. And I'll continue to push and try to get an answer on that, but I did not expect any negative feedback on it. I just expected more of a thank you for submitting.
So if there are new projects being requested, is
Yeah.
the 5-year plan have to be amended to include those, or you
What-
just?
What we'll do, we don't have to go back and touch that document. What we'll do instead is there's a running spreadsheet on it. So as new projects come in, it'll just be maybe an amended with a date and then a list of the new projects that are included. And that has been sufficient in years past.
And remind me, is there a decent number of FAD projects in that plan, or do we need to continue to find more FAD eligible?
There is a good number of FAD projects, for sure. I don't think that we need to target those more than we already have within that work plan. But with now having the opportunity to carry over that FAD funding into the next cycle, we definitely have to maybe reevaluate where all the projects are and reassess to make sure that we do use up that funding source. But on top of that, we also have to look at how we're gonna roll them out, because currently the DEP, the goal is to have one contract at a time. So if we have the $10 million contract first, we wanna make sure we use that up. The second contract that we'll have will be for FAD, which means we have to push all FAD projects into the back end.
Okay.
If that's the way that it's gonna go forward. Now, personally, I would like to talk to the DEP about having 2 simultaneous contracts so that we don't have to delay projects just for the sake of flow. But,
So you're talking about not new FAD money, but the rolling over?
Yeah, the rolling over.
And have we submitted that letter to DEP to ask to request that rollover?
I believe that's all been handled there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's some-
Yeah. And
Is that true?
are you surprised?
You're talking about negotiating for the rollover money.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing anything, but maybe something about my head.
Yeah, well, I thought we were handling that through the DEC, so I thought they were having some of those conversations.
I have not seen anything, but I'm often in the loop, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure.
But ultimately, the problem with moving forward with the projects is having the funding in place, because we don't have the contracts yet.
Right.
On anything.
Okay.
And our hope is that the first contract will be filed and that funding available at the beginning of 26. But it's all, once it hits New York City and the departments to get through everything, we have to leave to the DP to let us know when it's gonna be available to us. But in the meantime, if we continue to work towards freeing up the existing QUIP money to address things, then at least we might be able to look at design contracts to keep the ball rolling while we wait on the larger $10 million contract to come in. So just next few months will be a balancing act, I think. As we look to get everything in.
So the negotiations that you've been doing with our attorneys for the 10 million, that's moving forward. But the FAD rollover, is that also with the same, that's also
That's
been
a
in
different, that's
discussion,
a
the
different
same?
discussion. It's been with
So the
DEP.
10 million is in, we understand from DEP's attorneys that that has been submitted for comptroller approval, and Vinny could confirm that. That's that contract that's in their hands right now. So we're not in negotiations at this point. We have concluded that, and they have submitted their contract for approval. This board approved the contract for submission to them. So we've, that's where that one sits. In terms of the rollover, Kevin and, I can't quite hear all of what everybody says. So Kevin and Rich, was a formal request sent for that or not?
I'd have to go back and check right now. I know
Okay.
the conversations were with, Tom Snow up at DEC that he was going to be addressing that.
Okay,
Could we put it in writing and formally request
Yeah, we
it?
can. If it hasn't been done, I'll go
Yeah,
back.
yeah, thank you.
I just want to say that the $10 million contract, that's been submitted for processing. You said it was at the comptroller's office, and I don't think that's true yet. There are a few steps before the comptroller's office. And I don't think it's at the comptroller's office yet.
okay,
I haven't. It's important because once it gets to the comptroller's office, they have a 30-day window to turn it around, so, and I don't think that's where we are.
Well, let's get it at the comptroller.
Right, well, I'm invited to be there as well, but it winds its way through the different approvals.
Okay, so is there any way that we can check in and know where that is in the process, along the way?
We just had there's multiple internal steps, my understanding of the best estimate is again, like fall or certainly by the beginning of the year. Like Kevin was saying, that's kind of what we're shooting for, and that's the estimates I'm hearing.
Okay.
And we're having snags along the way so far, and it doesn't mean they can't happen.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And Ellen, this is why sometimes when you ask a question, there's a little uncertainty in what the answer is, because the process is so complicated.
But is there a mechanism to keep tabs on that process and the progress?
Yes, we're all keeping tabs on the progress, but sometimes we're assuming it went to the controllers.
Right,
This is
that's
the
why
first
I'm,
time,
right,
so. And sometimes it's hard to follow DEP's internal process. Sometimes it's hard for DEP to follow the DEP internal process, so.
Yeah, there's multiple approval steps, and sometimes, when it goes from our office down into the city, it's difficult to get information. But, the process is pretty well laid out.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And then Rich, you'll check with Tom Snow about the FAD request, that's formally been.
so could I just ask while we're on the topic, the status of the county contractual agreements? To make sure, because I haven't seen anything lately on those, and we need to make sure that those are moving concurrently.
So what's happening with the letter agreement in Putnam County?
Yes,
Well, Kevin and I spoke yesterday, we have a tentative commitment from Putnam County for the 1.5 million.
Okay.
And what we need before we can issue it is sufficient backup. So what we have to be able to do is if somebody foils the exchange, foils the transaction, we have to have something where we can say, this is where it went, and this is what they're doing with it.
So what more do you need that you
Well,
don't have?
I spoke with Kevin yesterday about some of the details. I think we're
Oh,
on-
this guy,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, not Kevin Burns, Kevin, sorry.
Yeah, and that conversation seems to, we can very much provide a packet, which is basically just gonna be, this was the history of where the money came from to begin with, this is what East Hudson has done over the last 15 years or so with it. This is what we look to do, over the next 5 and how that funding could support us. So it's, what I was gonna do was write up that letter, get all the facts together, pass it on to you, Rich, and then perhaps you can submit it
I
over.
don't see any obstacles after that.
All right, sounds good, because I did speak to some of our legislators yesterday about where are we, they were in the dark.
Do you want to vote to authorize now that when it's done, you send it, or can you just send it as?
I think I can just send it at this point, we've already voted to send the request in, the request is in.
This is just documentation.
Yeah,
Correct.
And I just want to, make sure that, there's a commitment from the county, but associated with the monies from the county was this kind of tri-party letter agreement between DEP and the counties. That sort of, number one, little bit of guardrails on how the money could be spent, but then also, transferred reporting requirements. Whereas
From the county to the DEP.
under the MOA and the WQIP program, each of Hudson Corporation would be required to submit annual accountings to the counties, and the counties would submit that to DEP. When this was all set up, it was set up where, through this letter agreement that DEP would agree to accept that accounting directly from the corporation, and then Putnam County wants to continue that relationship. They would need to sign on again to this, new amended tri-party letter agreement. We've already gotten a nod from Westchester County that they are amenable to doing that. I don't know if we've heard from Putnam County if you guys are interested in doing that. I assume you are.
I'm assuming we would be. Who's drafting that?
It's already been drafted and it's been submitted to you guys.
So, the way it's been told to me internally is that, we should get a nod from the counties that they are okay with the draft language in that, and then we can circulate it internally to see if we're okay with the language.
Who would that have been submitted to? Do we know?
I think it went straight to the county executive, did it not?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I received a copy of it, so didn't go, I was CC'd on it at least. I don't know, maybe you were CC'd on it too, Dale, I don't know.
Well, I think we can pull it out and get it back to you.
You should get it to me directly and I'll have him sign off on whatever you need.
It went to Vinny in Florida.
That's right. He's using it for a coaster right now. Yeah.
So there's the letter agreement, and then there's also just the funding agreement, right? Is there a separate document for that?
That's.
And then there's the backup, I think.
Right, so there's 3 documents there. Okay.
And then, okay, and then Westchester County, do they need a similar backup? For
We
the-
don't need a similar document.
Okay. And that's moving along for the, both the
Yeah.
letter agreement and the funding.
I mean, the letter agreement, we've essentially signed off on it, so we've done our part at the moment, so now once Putnam does theirs, then DEP will circulate it amongst them, and then we can move forward with the 3 signatures.
Okay, and then the rolling over of the prior funding, is that all?
That's something different.
Right, I know,
Okay.
right, but it's still more money we need to move forward, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanna make sure
And that's
that's
for Tom
also, no,
No, county, are you talking
it's talking about the county one.
Oh, the
Yeah.
county, bro, okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be in the same legislation.
Right, thank you,
They've been submitted to both counties.
okay.
Good. Rich, who did you talk to? Which legislators did you talk to? Aaron. You talked to Aaron? Okay, I'll catch up with Aaron, tell him what's up.
Thank you. All right.
That's it.
All right,
That's all I got there.
moving on.
Okay, so for award today, we have a resolution for construction administration services for Kent MB 1000. This project, the design was executed by the private property owner for using Insight Engineering. They took it up to 100% design, bid ready documents, and it was stopped there at that point. In order to take on the remainder of the contract and fulfilling the actual execution of the construction contract, we went out to bid for construction administration services and received 2 bids back. One from Insight Engineering at 28,000 and one from Casey Engineering for 368,000. We are recommending the award to Insight Engineering. That's 28,000.
Why such a big difference?
There had to be a misunderstanding in the requirements of the contract. Perhaps they saw construction administration and thought that they would be responsible for daily inspections, whereas that's a responsibility of the construction contractor that will hire, that they have somebody on site at all times. So, yeah, so it's a bit unclear as to where AC went off course. But the submittal from Insight Engineering, along with the review committee, we feel as though it is the right value for this contract, most importantly. And are comfortable moving forward with the recommendation to work to Insight Engineering.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. was the 28.7, is that a reasonable?
Absolutely reasonable,
Yeah.
yes,
Because that's such a big number.
yeah. For construction administration services, that's spot on. As you guys know, we've used Insight frequently over the last decade or so. And they've done a fine job for us on the contract, so it's very.
Motion to approve this?
Second.
There's a resolution.
I don't have to read it.
No, sorry, I thought you
Yeah.
were holding the construction document.
Yeah, no.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm recusing myself. Right, now,
Right.
we've still got enough, if I step back?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank God, because that hurts me as well.
Why do you have to recuse yourself?
My son's a partner.
Oh, that's right, it's like, yeah.
That was fun. We pick up that. Okay, so our next item on the board is the resolution to authorize president to execute an installation agreement for Carmel CF 703. This project is for stream stabilization, and bank stabilization within the town of Carmel at the Woodland Trails condominium group. Project is a FAD item. It's been reviewed by council here as well as their HOA. And all parties there are ready for execution. Project will be submitted over to town of Carmel for any comments as well. And then we'll look to execute this project as soon as we can.
This is just that short part.
Short part from the roadway down through a small piece of the condominium property before it leads into pretty close to, what is that, Fair Street?
Cause when
So
it hits
stop short.
Waring, it like wiped out, remember in the big storm, it was bad at Waring Drive, it was.
At Waring Drive is below.
Below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this may alleviate a little bit of that, but I would think there would be another solution. If we were to target Waring Drive, would be another solution we'd have.
Cause they're doing something in Fair Street, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Town he's got going, but. there's
Well,
something
Hi,
there.
can we help you?
Is the closing?
Yes,
Almost.
almost.
We have to close up this meeting first.
Okay. Wow, I didn't expect that this many.
Oh, no, we're having another meeting. And then.
You could take a seat in the corner.
Or up front, I put enough chairs out up front if you would like.
Okay.
Excuse me?
There are some chairs up front if you would like.
Okay.
Just a quick question, Kevin and Linda, we did adopt the seeker for this last year, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, right, just to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Can I get a motion on the resolution?
Motion.
Have a second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry to discuss before.
Good.
Hey, O&M, no major updates for you guys, but again, just continue to keep chipping away. I know the highway departments are all busy catching up with the new permit requirements, but we have to make sure that these the Hudson's projects are still in line. I am conducting inspections as we go out and look at everything, so please keep it up. And I hope to, if I see anything, I will let municipalities know by summer's end. To if anything needs to get addressed, but keep plugging away. We're fortunate that I think overall, you guys have done a good job of catching everything up. So hopefully are in good shape for this year, but of course, even one this year can put you behind the eight ball on those maintenance. So that's it.
Thank you. Any other business?
I just have one thing to bring up, regarding accounting, as you know, the contract requires that corporations submit certain things to us annually. The contract that we have, this is for the Fed fund, the Pro 574. The contract also kind of gives us wide variety of request documents. We had written a letter back in December, with certain deficiencies, with regard to the accounting. We have not received all of those yet. In the meantime, the 2024 accounting came through in March. And Keith did submit some documents to me on the fourth, which we thank him for that. There are still some outstanding items, that I was gonna discuss with him anyway, but I guess he's not here. So what I was going to do at this meeting, I'll send you a list of what we feel is still outstanding, and I was asked to kind of get a commitment in terms of like a timeline on when we might see those documents, and I had thought maybe by the end of July. Might be a fair.
Well, send me the list.
I absolutely will. Thank you.
Opposed?
And Keith is back, next week.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
it's for
Monday,
some.
I'll be back in the office.
Motion closed?
Any other business? No other business. Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Aye. So we have a process here. And it goes through many layers, so these documents that, somebody may be looking for, I don't know, it's. Stuff goes to Patterson.